My dreams are nightmares. How can I sleep? You got the gun against me.
What's going on, everybody? King of Dragons 5000 here, coming at you with another figure review. Today we'll be having a look at the Mattel WWE Ultimate Edition, the Big Red Machine, Kane. And so here we have the Ultimate Edition Kane posing out of the packaging. Before we take a look at the figure, let's actually run through his accessories really fast. Kane does come with two different head sculpts. We do get one head sculpt where the hair is more in his face. We also do get a head sculpt where the hair is more combed back. Kane also does come with two pairs of hands. He comes with a pair of grip hands. Then he comes with a pair of open palmed hands. He of course does come with his voice box, which does look really nice. It does fit in either of his grip hands. He comes with his cape, which was seen at one house show, but I am really surprised that they did include it with Kane. And then of course he does come with the WWE title. Other than that, Kane here doesn't come with anything else, so let's actually move on to his details. And so here we have a closer look at the Ultimate Edition's Kane, and I have to say Mattel has done a really good job with this figure. Now, there are some issues that we do need to talk about, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But for starters, really absolutely love this head sculpt. It is probably the best head sculpt for Kane that Mattel has ever made. The shape of the mask is almost perfect. The mouth slit is still a little bit too big, but as far as the look of the mask goes, this actually does look like Kane's mask as it's supposed to be. They even did add his goatee right here, as well as the strap in the mask, so that looks really nice. I really think that Mattel should have thrown in a third head sculpt where the hair was more in his face, because Kane was always seen with the hair in his face or more like this. I rarely ever remember seeing him with his hair slicked back, but yeah, I would have liked to see a third head sculpt included with this figure. So as far as the paint apps go, this Kane is pretty okay. There are some issues on his mask. For starters, you can see that this didn't go all the way. They should have at least painted the entire way through for this part of his mask. The actual mask has a solid black stripe here, but they did unfortunately ruin it with the sculpt work. They didn't paint over the sculpt work, which normally is a bad thing, but this is one instance where you need to paint over the sculpt work, because that's pretty much how the mask is. And I don't know if you guys can see it on this one, but they didn't continue the paint all the way on his mask. They kind of just cut it off here. The corner part of Kane's mask is black, as well as this stripe should be going all the way to the end of the mask. But other than that, they still did a really good job of capturing the look of Kane. Maybe his hair could be a little bit darker, but that's subjective, and really do like the way he came out. As far as the body goes, I have no issue with this body. It is completely unique to Kane. This upper torso belongs strictly to Kane, and I think it works perfectly. I do have the Elite 12 Kane, which was a pretty nice figure in its own right, but this, I think the proportions on this figure look much better. You can see that Kane is a little bit thicker right here, as he's supposed to be. His arms do feel a little bit bigger, which I do like that, and then we do have the studs right there. So overall, really nice update to that initial Elite 12 Kane that we got so many years back. But this Kane does have some issues that figure also had, but they weren't quite as noticeable because the paint was a little bit cleaner on that. And what I mean by that is, every Kane that I've seen a review of or pictures of, he has this exact same problem where they painted the elbows. That is very terrible. I don't know why they painted the arm, because every time you bend his arm, you can see the bare skin, and that's not good. I really wish that they had just casted this in red plastic. I think it is cheaper to cast it in plastic than it is to paint it, because when you paint it, you gotta cast it in one color and then paint over it, so I don't understand why that is. But he still has the glove cuff right here, which looks really nice, and I do have him with the glove open, as you can see right here. They have a really nice sculpt work right here on his gloved hand. Now unfortunately, his open glove hand looks better than his grip glove hand, because the grip glove hand is just a regular hand cast in black plastic, which is a little bit unfortunate. And I'm not gonna lie, his hands feel a little bit small. I don't know why he doesn't have any choke slamming hands But it's kind of strange seeing just these flat open hands with Kane and we don't get any choke slamming hands. So that is weird, at least to me. He does have this really nice belt, which I am glad that they sculpted it this time. I know some people have had issues with the belt, but I honestly don't know what that issue is. I would much rather have a sculpted belt than a painted on belt. So yeah, that's a plus in my book. And then his pelvis to his calf has been seen before. It's the exact same that we saw on the Elite 12 Kane, which it's not bad. I kind of wish that they had sculpted this because this is an Ultimate Edition figure, and I would like more bang for my buck, at least for this figure. You can see the paintwork is really nice, really clean, so I do like that. Same thing on this side, we have really nice clean paint apps. Then we go on to his boots, where I feel like this figure could have been a little bit better. His boots, though accurate to the time period, I kind of wanted to see high gloss boots because Kane always wore high gloss boots, and I think that was a misstep by Mattel by not making these incredibly glossy. I would have liked to see glossy boots on Kane. So overall, I really do like the way this Kane came out. There are some missteps with the paint apps, unfortunately, but it's a universal issue, and I hope Mattel does rectify that somehow, either by correcting it or letting people who bought it get a replacement arm, because that's unacceptable by any stretch of the imagination. This right here is unacceptable in today's market. So yeah, unfortunately that's a universal issue with Kane. So what we're going to do now is actually get Kane compared to other figures you may have in your collection. Here we do have the Ultimate Edition Kane posed next to an Ultimate Edition Brock Lesnar and a basic Jeff Hardy. Here we have the Ultimate Edition Kane posed next to the Elite 12 Kane and Elite Build-A-Figure Paul Bearer. And finally, here we do have the Ultimate Edition Kane posed next to the Ultimate Edition Undertaker. So with the comparisons out of the way, let's actually have a look at the Ultimate Edition Kane's articulation. Now he does have a dumbbell joint in the head, which does let him look up. He can look down, although his hair does get in the way of his articulation. He can tilt his head side to side as well as turn left and right, so that's really good. We do have a butterfly joint for the big red machine right here. As you can see, it does function pretty well. It goes back more than it goes forward. Whenever they make a butterfly joint, I always appreciate it when it goes further forward than back, but that's just how it is on Kane. Arm does go out to the side, no problem, and if you're a little too reckless with it, you will pop the arm out of the socket, but it just pegs right back in, so it's not a big deal. Arms do go all the way around. He does have a bicep swivel. We get double bend here at the elbow. Mine's pretty stiff, but it does go pretty far. I do like that. Then we do get a swivel and hinge at the wrist, and it's the same for both arms, although on mine, because this wrist guard isn't all the way where it's supposed to be, it kind of keeps this hand from pegging in all the way. I might have to heat that up just to move it up a little bit and get it to where it needs to be, but that's for later. He does have a ball joint here at the torso, which he can lean back. He can lean forward a little bit. Side to side pivots, no problem. So we do get some good range here. Not the best, and it is quite limited, to be quite honest. He does rotate at the waist. Legs do go forward only to about, they should go up further, but I don't know. I don't like the way they set up this peg. It's not on a ball joint. It's on that kind of like hexagon joint that Mattel used to do, and I'm really scared of pushing it past that because I don't want to break the figure. But yeah, the legs could go further forward. I don't know why they don't want to. They were moving before I started the review, so I'll have to look into that. They do go out quite a bit, so I do like that. Thigh swivel works no problem. Double bend at the knee, working really good. Swivel at the boot, really stiff hinges here at the ankles going back. Then we do have them going forward. Then we do have rocker ankle for Kane, and then of course we do have a toe hinge. So overall, Kane has some pretty good articulation, minus his legs and his torso. I kind of feel like they should have Kane's hip articulation and giving him a little bit more crunch, but overall I still think it's a really nice figure. So with that out of the way, guys, let's actually get Kane posed for my final thoughts, and then we'll wrap up this review. And so finally here we do have the Ultimate Edition Kane posed for my final thoughts. And overall, I really do like this figure. I think this is the best version of the Attitude Era Kane that Mattel has made, despite the fact there are some glaring issues, especially with the paint. I think if Mattel had just cleaned up the paint on this figure and molded certain parts in red, we wouldn't have as many issues as we are having with this figure. And they really need to update Kane's hips, because I don't know why they still use that old-fashioned ball joint. It's really terrible. It makes it feel like they're gonna break the figures every time we move them around. But overall, I still like the way this Kane came out. I am really glad that they did give us at least 2 different head options with Kane. And one thing I absolutely love, even though it's so obscure that he only wore it once, the cape. It's such a strange accessory, and the fact that he only wore it at one house show, it's iconic enough to have its own rendition in figure form, which I absolutely love, and the fabric on it looks really nice. I do love it. So Kane here is available on Ringside Collectibles. At the time I'm making this video, I have seen some of the Ultimate Edition figures starting to trickle out in stores. I know I just saw the Edge and Macho Man, so Rock and Cena are going to be next, followed by Kane and Undertaker. So if you are patient enough to get it on retail, you will end up paying $30. Me, I unfortunately paid a little bit more, paying about $30 to $35 for Kane here. He's a really nice figure, and I really do like what Mattel did. I just feel like maybe some alternate hands, like some fists, some slapping hands would have been really nice. Some choke slamming hands, because Kane is all about that choke slam. And like I said, I think a head where the hair was all over his face would have been a nice inclusion. But what we got here is still a very solid figure, and if you can look past some of the paint issues, I really do recommend you pick up this Kane, especially if you're a fan of the classic big red machine. You're gonna really love this figure. With that being said, guys, I'm KingofDragons 5000. Don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel. Go check out all my other action figure reviews, as well as all my other WWE Ultimate Edition videos. Hopefully you find them informative. As always, if there's a figure you would like to see me review, let me know down in the comments, and if it fits in my collection, I'll gladly have a look at it. While you're at it, check out my Instagram account for new and exciting action figure photos, and as always, ring that bell to be notified every time I upload a video. Until next time, guys, I'll see you later. Take care, everyone.